Welcome everybody to another video from Digital Proximity. We're continuing on our video series with data analytics with the Python Pandas library. Today we are going to focus on Excel. In order to do that, we are going to use the OpenpyXL library. OpenpyXL was a library that was created in 2010 to enable pandas to read data from Excel files. So pandas originally reads data from JSON and CSV files. So in order for us to be able to view Excel files with pandas and Python, we have to install OpenpyXL. So I'm going to run a simple command, pip install OpenpyXL to do that. I already have it installed here, but I'm doing this for video tutorial purposes. Pip is a package installer in Python. We always use it to install different libraries in Python. So as the library is installing, let's have a look at our data set. I think you can see down here it has already started installing our library. Yeah. So it should be done within a short period of time. So this is the data set that we're dealing with today. It's a very large data set in Excel. For most companies, I'm sure a lot of companies are used to this. So in this data set, I have over 1,500 rows of data and also columns from A to V. So that's approximately about 21 columns that we are dealing with today. So with pandas, we are going to extract, transform, and load the data from the Excel sheet. So we are using pandas and OpenpyXL basically as a data pipeline, where we are extracting data from the Excel data set, we are transforming it, we are dropping any duplicate values, we are validating the data, and then we hope to load this into a web platform or into tables that can easily be read by other people. So I'm going to start by creating a new Python file within my repository, readexcel.py. Normally all Python files usually end with a .py extension. So I'm going to first remove video so that our concentration can be on the text editor. So I'm going to first of all import pandas as PD, and then I'm going to import IO, input output, because we are dealing with temporary storage of memory. That's why we use import IO. So I'm going to define a function, define load, and preprocess underscore data. So that's how we define functions in Python. We use a colon. So I'm going to load data from the Excel sheet. So I'm going to develop a data frame. In the previous video, we discussed about data frames. Yeah, so I'm going to load the Excel data into a data frame. I'll call it DF Finance. And I'm going to use a try except block so that I can load all the necessary information, do data cleaning, extract data from the Excel file. Yeah, so first and foremost, we are going to read data from finance Excel sheet, read underscore Excel. Since we're using Excel, last time we used CSV. Our sheet name is track finance.xlsx, and then we close parentheses. Then again, we want to drop duplicate values, and we're going to use the track ID. If we have the same track ID over the same amount of data, it means our data has errors. So we are using pandas to clean up in case we have that. After dropping any duplicate values, I want to convert any relevant numerals. So we have monthly payments, we have down payment. So basically these are all the fields that are relevant to finance. Since the trucks among the fleet, some of them are purchased on loan, some of them are leased. So I'll use a for loop. Python, remember, we use spaces. So if I'm using a for loop, I'm definitely going to create a space. Have to do error handling, of course. course, because the reason we do this is to make sure when we have any empty values, we should fill them with 0. Alright, so that's my for loop for converting any numbers that we're going to deal with within our spreadsheet, making sure that they are validated. So we also have to validate data types. So we do date underscore columns underscore finance. So we're looking at all date columns, and we are going to have a list here of those columns. We have date underscore acquired, we have payment underscore start underscore date, we have payment end date. These are how the fields are named, so you have to make sure that you type exactly the names that are of the fields that are in the Excel sheet. So I'm going to use a for loop again. So we are validating that these dates should be actual and should follow the standard syntax of Python. And then we do some error handling. So in case there are errors within our dates, we are going to coerce them, and then we are going to infer date time format that is true. So we are done with the for loops. We can display our data frame and our Excel file on a website or on a web page using the Python Flask framework. In order to do that, we need to first import Flask. So we will start by writing from Flask import Flask. Then we put a comma, render template, and then we'll also use JSONify. So the reason we are using JSONify, we basically also want to display JSON data within our web page. I also want to import traceback, because traceback is used for error handling. In case we have any errors within our application, it will guide us and show us the steps in which the error happened. Otherwise, after this, basically I am going to include other relevant code that we need. And since we are using Flask, this is how we initialize Flask application. So at the end of our code, I'm going to explain to you this bit of code. So output head is equal to df finance head. So df finance head, this is a Python method that will get the first 5 rows within our Excel sheet or within our df finance data frame, and then it's going to convert those first 5 rows into a HTML class, which is a table, and we are going to output the contents of our header information. And then we'll also have our JSON content here. That's why we use JSONify. This is going to basically return, for example, we want to output the head of our data, and then we also want to output the information of our data. So we wanted to return a status of success, that our message was successfully loaded and pre-processed from track finance Excel sheet, and the sheet is track finance. We also have exceptions in case we do not successfully load our data. So I'm highlighting the exceptions. In case our file is not found, it will return a status error, and then the message, the track finance sheet not found, please ensure the file is in the same directory. Then also details, we have a traceback.format to trace our errors. We also have another exception within our except block. We are returning any other unexpected errors that we don't find. So the status is an error. The message is we have an unexpected error that occurred during data processing, and we need details of what that error was. So we'll do a traceback. We also have the up route. Basically, we are going to display the contents of our Excel sheet and our data frame through an index.html file. So all this includes the routing information, and that's why we imported render template to render our Python code into a HTML application. So we'll have define index, which is a Python function where we return the template, which is index.html. We also have another app route for processing data. So we're going to do two things. We're going to display our content on a HTML file, which is with index.html, and then we are going to process the data. If the result status is success, please return the JSONified results. That's why we have JSONify again. Else, return the JSONify results with a 500 error, which is a server-side error in case our server side has an issue, which is our Python end. Then we conclude our Flask application with this statement: if name is equal to main app run, debug is equal to true, which is always at the end of every Flask application. So first and foremost, after making sure we have no errors, I'm going to save that file, and then we're going to run Python read excel.py. So let us wait for the results. It's already running. I will come over here and copy the link for our Flask application. Let me run it right here. Let's hope it loads very fast. Okay, that is our Flask application, but I'll come back. I need to explain to the HTML code. So our HTML code, I think I already talked about how we have our app routes where we return render template index.html. Now Flask by default, you create a templates folder where you put your HTML code. So this is our index.html. We have our open HTML tag and the language English so that it's readable by search engines. Within our header tag, this is the content we have within our header tag. We have char set UTF-8, which is the most common character set. Name, viewport, width, divide width. This is done so that your web page can be customizable for every kind of device that you use. Yes. The title is going to be track finance data. So I can come back to our HTML. You can see up here track finance data. That's the title. And then we're going to use script from Tailwind CSS from the Tailwind CDN. Tailwind CSS is basically a simplified way of using CSS without having a separate style sheet within your code. So it kind of simplifies that. And then we also have our custom CSS styles right here within the style tag. A white space, pre-wrap, word wrap. This is basically to wrap our words in case they are big and they don't overflow. We have tables, table headings, table data. We have a body tag. So when we're using Tailwind CSS, we always have class. We implement a predefined CSS using the class function. So body class BG gray, meaning our body is going to be gray. So back to the code, another class BG white, it's rounded, and within that class will include text, track finance data. It will be a heading, text 3x, which is large. The font is bold, the text is centered, track finance data right here. Then we have a button, process button. Our Tailwind CSS, the button is BG blue. It's rounded. We can hover over it. It's blue. So when I hover, it kind of changes color. If you're seeing my mouse here, it kind of changes color. So I come back. We have a loading indicator. Basically, I'm going to press that button. You see everything that it does. So when I press the process data button, it's showing processing data. That's an indicator. So the indicator is loaded, and this is the message that it displays to us: successfully loaded and pre-processed track finance sheet. So that's the whole point of loading indicator, processing data. That's what happens. And then we have a results container. Within our results container, we have a message ID, we have a head output, data frame head, df content head. All this basic code has information within. So results container, this results container is initially hidden. That's why we have class hidden. If I'm to refresh this, you can see that's why it's hidden. It's not displaying. So until we press process data, that's when it's displayed. That's why we have that. So after pressing, we can see the message. The message is in green, successfully displayed. We have the head output. We have data frame head, that is text on top. So this very h2 header is right here, data frame head, and then we have our table, df head content, info, output, the data frame info. So info is right here, all this information right here. And then error details, we've not yet gotten an error, but I'll try to mess up the code so that you can see the error message. We have scripts right here. So this is the JavaScript logic. We are using a JavaScript DOM. We have our IDs that we mentioned above. We have process button, we have load indicator, we have results container, we have message div, df content head, df content info, error details. So some of this information is hidden until we press the process button. So after pressing the process button, processing data, it's going to do a try, await, fetching JSON data. We're fetching the results. Are we successfully displaying the content of our Excel sheet? If that is true, print out a message in green that we have successfully processed that message. Print out data.head information, meaning the first 5 rows of the data, and then print out data.info of the message. If we don't succeed in that with our try, await, fetch, please display error message, and the error message should be in red. It should contain text content details about that. That's why we have our track back import we mentioned above. Basically, this is a try catch block. We try to catch other errors that could be related to the server, display error messages and all that. So I'm going to come back here to our web page. When I press process data, it's processing. This is an indicator. It's displaying our striped table, meaning different shades of gray and white, so that our data is readable and visible. Then this is the information, the number of columns that we have. We have 21 columns. It gives us information on each. We have 955 entries that are not duplicated out of 967. So this is what happens when you use the info method and the head method. These are the top 5 rows within our Excel sheet right there. So I want to show you what happens in case we have an error message. I'll come back to read track finance, and then I will save. So it's reloading, and then I'll also reload from here. So when I click process data, I expected error. These are the error messages we were talking about. Track back gives us all the details of the error. I think basically that's it. Okay, that marks the conclusion of our video. Let me take it back to how it was working. Basically, we can put back our sheet name. I have to save. So when I come back here, refresh the page. Okay, after refreshing the page, when I click process data, because I had removed the name of the sheet, that's why I said the sheet name matters. Basically, our code and everything, our data frame of info is all displayed right here. So I hope this video was helpful. So that marks the conclusion, understanding how to use OpenpyXL. It's a very interesting library. The next videos I'm going to do on our data analytics and data science series, I'm going to do more videos on data visualization. I will also do more videos on data science. We're going more into the machine learning side of it and machine learning algorithms. Also, I'll also do videos on statistics. If you look at the code that I have within the code base, here I have code that includes doing some statistics. We have multiple sheets within. So here I only use track finance, but we have 5 other spreadsheets that I go into in the next videos. Basically, I'm going to show you examples of how I used statistics. We used quantile to show the 75th percentile, 25th percentile. This is basic math. So if you remember statistics that you did in math and probability, that's what data science is all about. So data analytics, we do manipulation with our data, and then data science does the machine learning algorithms and statistics to make sense or to come up with recommendations and decisions from our data. Then on visualizations, we need to focus more on JavaScript. JavaScript does a lot more visualizations with React, with things like shadecn. So if I came over to my portfolio, we have a dashboard that I'll show you in our data visualization series using JavaScript. So we'll do data visualization with Matplotlib, Python, and also with JavaScript. So this is shadecn. We use Chat.js, D3.js libraries, some JavaScript libraries to come up with basically cool data visualizations. We have a bar graph here. So it's cool. This is like a customer agent dashboard. It shows the number of tickets that have been created, unresolved tickets. It shows resolved tickets. So these are the cool visualizations we can come with. So at the end of the day, there's no point of doing data analytics if you're not going to visualize your data. So this is just an example of the data visualizations. So these are visualizations that you can present in a boardroom meeting. So these are cool visualizations you can come up with. Basically, there's a lot we can do with JavaScript. It's all right here. I'll do that in other videos later on. So for Python, we've gone through our OpenpyXL library today. I hope the video has been very useful. More material on the course that I've been taking you through, or to help you understand the video much better, I published a Medium article. My Medium handle is at Nixakwa, so you can follow to get more elaborate information about the topic today, data analytics for Excel with OpenPy. And then for pandas as well, in case you guys didn't understand the pandas methods, we talked about including df head, df information. I did a pandas basics video on our YouTube channel, Digital Proximity. The video was published. You can watch it. It's just about 9 minutes. This one is a bit longer, but in order for you to understand the core concepts of pandas, the video is on YouTube. We also have some short videos on our TikTok handle at Digital Proximity. I talked about pandas, I talked about data science in general, I talked about data visualization. Yeah, we can also do visualizations with Python using pandas, Matplotlib, and Flask. There's also libraries like Seaborn. I have those videos on TikTok as well. You can find them on all social media platforms, including YouTube. We're going to start a LinkedIn page soon as well, so you'll find a lot of this content, even on X, on Twitter. The articles, other articles on pandas, they are also on my Medium, Nixakwa. I can just show you here briefly. I also have other articles on data science in general. Here I was talking about the linear regression algorithm. Yeah, so we said in the next video segments we're going to go into the machine learning bit of data science and also the statistics bit of data science. Data science can be used to develop key performance indicators. For example, if you work in a bank, you want an indicator for whether this customer deserves a loan. Basically, data science can be used for all that. I have an article on machine learning with TensorFlow.js, so you can also use JavaScript. It's a JavaScript library for machine learning, visualizations, and everything you can find on Medium. So feel free to follow us. I will put the link for pandas in the comment section of this video. So feel free to follow us, give us a like. Digital Proximity, our goal is to bring technology closer to people. So follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok for more. Also, for the code, you can access code on pandas from my GitHub repositories. My GitHub profile, Nick Spartan01. So you can search for pandas. I have a number of repositories from pandas. Let's see. Okay. So this is the introduction to pandas, Python with pandas for data analytics, data science with pandas with Flask. For those of you who use Django, I did a video with Django. I talked about Seaborn. Seaborn is another Python library that is used to do visualizations in form of heat maps. So be blessed. I hope this information will be helpful to you. See you next time.